Alright, so this is going to be a list, a ranking of the music from Mega Man on NES. I've decided to only go with the stage themes, so there won't be the outro at the end of the game, the stage select theme, none of that. Just to have an apples to apples, oranges to oranges kind of deal, just the stage theme. So there'll be the 6 Robot Master themes and the 2 Dr. Wily songs for a total of 8. So essentially a top 8 of the original soundtrack to Mega Man 1. Now, just a disclaimer, this ranking is only my opinion. It's not a definitive end-all be-all list of the best songs from Mega Man. This is just my opinion, and it'll probably fluctuate day to day. You know, if you ask me for the ranking tomorrow, it might be a little bit different. That's just how it goes. I encourage debate and discussion, so feel free to, give your opinion or your take on the rankings or your rankings entirely. So without any further ado, here are my rankings of the stage themes from Mega Man. At number 8, I have Gutsman's stage. Now, the music from Mega Man 1 tends to, be kind of underwritten in general. Some of the songs, they don't have a lot going on structurally, and I don't think any song on the entire soundtrack suffers from this more than Gutsman's. It's really just the entire song is one riff, has a little bit different variations with it, with the note patterns, but it's essentially the same riff all the way through, and it really could have used more. There really should have been another section here. The riff itself isn't bad, it's alright, but it really needed another section, or at least something to accompany the riff, because it's continuous. Even when it kind of goes off into the other verse, it's really just the same riff played in a different pattern. It doesn't do a lot for me. I know Gutsman is an iconic character, and so is Gutsman's ass. Gutsman! But Gutsman's music, I, could do without it. At number 7, I have Iceman's stage. I don't know, Iceman's theme is kind of dull to me. It's chill. It's, it does fit with the with the whole ice theme. But I don't know. I don't find myself really grooving to it all that much. I do like, though, the how in the intro the accompaniment in the background is different from how you'll hear it when it comes back to the next loop. So at the beginning you've got all this cascading, and then when it comes back around, it's got this kind of pulsing bass riff instead. And it's actually, if you listen, the transition into the second verse is different the first time than it is every other time it comes back around the loop. So, yeah, Iceman's song is fine, it's alright, but, it just doesn't do a lot for me altogether. At number 6, I've got Dr. Wily's stages 3 and 4. This one's a lot like Gutsman in a way because it is underwritten and it is repetitive. But what separates them is I find the riff itself to be much cooler than Gutsman's. It's got this dark, ominous feel to it that a final stage really deserves. And it definitely fits the second, because there's 2 stages to this song. I think it fits the final stage more than the tunnel stage on stage 3. But this is another one that needed more to the arrangement. It needed another section. It just kind of stays where it is, and it doesn't go anywhere. It would have definitely been higher on this list if they had put a little bit more substance into the song. At number 5, I've got Bomb Man's stage. I like how busy the Bomb Man song is. There's a lot of riffage in there. It sounds kind of like live. It sounds kind of freeformish. I don't think any song on the whole soundtrack sounds more like it was kind of played live with a band, more than how Bomb Man's song comes across. I like how the drum pattern isn't just the same pattern over and over again either. There's some changes there with the snares, but it kind of falls in the middle of the pack for me. As far as the rankings go, I tend to just think it doesn't have that explosiveness, which I think would have been fitting for Bomb Man. At number 4, I've got Dr. Wily stages 1 and 2. The WILY themes always tend to they always they have the sense of finality to them, because you're getting towards the end of the game. It's got that. It's usually not going to be the most upbeat, happy tune. Like stages 3 and 4 has that dark, ominous finality to it. WILY stages 1 and 2 has that kind of dark feel to it, but it's a little more up tempo. It kind of says, okay, you're not in the robot stages anymore. This is the real shit, and this one definitely encompasses that. It tends not to have the status of some of the other WILY themes in terms of just your classic awesome castle stages, but I do like it quite a bit. The top 3, now this is where things got pretty difficult for me to rank them. They really could have swapped places around with each other, and you ask me next week, I might have a totally different order, but I tend to lean in this direction with these top 3 more or less consistently. At number 3, I've got ELEC Man's stage. Now, with electricity themed robot, you're gonna think, okay, yeah, electronic music, and it more or less hits the nail on the head. There's those nice little, voltage sounding stabs in there, and it has it kind of sounds like there's a keyboard solo in the second verse. It's just a nice warm riff. I really it's a fucking classic. At number 2, Fireman stage. I don't know if there's any song on the soundtrack that fits the stage more than Fireman. I mean, you hear it and it sounds fucking hot, and it not just not even in an Africa hot setting. I'm talking about in a fucking furnace, which is pretty much the way the stage takes place. I mean, not only does it have a memorable, catchy riff, and not only does it sound extremely warm, but the up-tempo-ness of it kind of gives you the compulsion to get through the stage as fast as possible so you can get out of this hell. I really like Fireman's theme, not only because it's such a cool song, but because it fits the stage. And I don't know, I just tend to, when I'm playing the game and the song is playing, I'm not only enjoying the song for what it is, but because it fits so well with the stage, it just adds something to it that's really unexplainable. It's just a cherry on the top of the sundae, really. And finally, at number 1, Cutman stage. This was probably the one that took the longest to write. Gutsman's song probably took about 8 to 10 seconds of fiddling around, and then, I got the riff, there it is. Cutman's song was definitely crafted. I mean, the way all the sounds are meshed together is just brilliant. And another thing I like is how the verses really contrast with each other. The first verse is quite, the riffs are very busy, and there's this sense of foreboding kind of with the mood. And then the second verse has these more, the notes just kind of sustain, and there's more space there. And the tone is just more unpleasant in general. And then it goes right back into the chaos that is the first verse. And it's entirely hummable and catchy all the way through. Like I said, these last top 3 are among my favorites of Mega Man history, but I always tend to fall back on Cutman for number 1 for the most part. So, just to recap, at the entire list, at number 8, it was Gutsman. Number 7, Iceman. Number 6, WILY Stages 3 and 4. Number 5, Bomb Man. Number 4, Dr. WILY Stages 1 and 2. Number 3, ELEC Man. Number 2, Fireman. And number 1, Cutman. So that pretty much wraps up the list. You know, give us your thoughts. Give your list yourself. What do you like about some of the songs? What do you not like about some of them? Let's hear it. And I guess that wraps up this edition of Soundtrack Rankings. I'll see you next time.